Okay, now we're going to do the HVAC placement plan. So we arrive at the building, we take our Google Earth printed paper, which has our address, job number, etc. We'll want a tape measure. We'll want a some sort of a laser measuring device. And we'll need a calculator on the next step, but not necessary right now. So the first thing we do is we climb on top of the roof. And in this particular building, the hatch was right here, okay? Now we're on top of the roof, and we want to take some dimensions. The first dimension we're going to take is the overall length and width of the roof top, okay? In this particular building, we're going to start here from the inside face of that wall, right there. And then we're going to use our laser and shoot to the inside face of this wall here. Okay. Now, I don't want to shoot where this signage pops in, or I don't really need to shoot where this rear area pops out. This particular area, there is no RTUs on it. And number two, I happen to know it's over the walk-in freezer because I was inside that store. So what we're trying to get is the overall dimension of the building that has the roof trusses on it. We're also going to want to shoot a dimension from the inside face this direction to the inside face that direction. And in this particular case, this dimension turned out to be 76 foot 9 inches. The other direction happened to be 28 foot 9 inches. Okay, very good. Now, the next thing we're going to want to do is observe the slope of the roof, the slope to drain. So probably the easiest thing to do is look where the drains are. So in this particular one, I've got a drain here. So I'm just going to note it as a drain. And there was another one right here. Just going to note it as a drain. I don't need the exact location of those drains. What's really important, though, is the slope of the roof. In this particular building, the roof slopes from left to right down. So a big exaggerated arrow like that saying down is the traditional way that architects indicate the roof slope. In this particular case, the entire roof is sloping that way, apart from little cricket areas. So the entire roof is sloping that way, and so I just do one arrow. In some cases, there's a central ridge, and the roof slopes down towards both the left-hand and the right-hand exterior wall. In that case, I would have an arrow going this way and an arrow going that way, and basically maybe a dashed line or some sort of a light line down the middle indicating a ridge. In some cases, of course, the roof will slope down and to the left. In a few cases, we've actually seen this roof slope from the front all the way to the back. It's unusual, but we do see it. Okay, now we have our slope. The next thing we want to do is document the size of the RTU curves and their exact locations. So for that, we use a tape measure, just a regular standard tape measure. We draw a diagonal line off of the unit. Any corner is fine, but we just use that line to give a way to organize the data. In this particular one, we measured from left to right here on the curb itself, and we got 4 foot 9 inches. And we measured up and down on the curb itself, and we got 7 foot 10 inches. Now, what's important here is this. We're not measuring the RTU. We're not measuring the adapter curb that may be underneath the RTU. What we're measuring is the roof curb itself, because as you've probably seen on some of these roofs, that curb may be smaller and the RTU on top is substantially larger. But what the roof structure feels is that combined weight as it weighs down upon the existing curb and presses down upon the trusses. So that's the dimension we want, is the dimensions of the existing roof curb. Now, these dimensions, if you capture them plus or minus an inch or so, that's fine. So you don't have to say 4 foot 8 1/4 inches or something like that. You just put your tape down, look at it, looks like 4 foot 9, write it down. If it's 4'10" or 4'8", we don't really have an issue here on that particular thing. This overall dimension, similarly, we're looking for something within about an inch. This dimension within about an inch, okay? Now, we measure this unit here also, and we come up with 9'6" on the long direction. And in the short direction, we had 6'8". Now, we write all this stuff while we're working on top of the roof. Usually I'll find maybe a little unit here or something, use it like a little bit of a table and just work on it and try to, put weights on my paperwork so it doesn't all blow away. Okay, now I have the size of the two units. The next thing I need to do is locate them on the roof. And to locate them, I need two more dimensions for each unit. And again, these dimensions are going to be to the curb, not to the unit above. Okay, so in this case, I'm going to measure from this wall to this unit. And I came up with 12'3". I just mark it on there like that, 12'3". And I'm careful not to measure to some sort of popped in sign, but all to the outside wall. And I measured in this dimension, again to the outside wall, not the sign, and I came up with 14'7". Similarly, down here, we came up with 10'8". And then measuring the other direction, we measured to the front of the store in this particular case, and we came up with 40'5". You could have measured to the back of the store if you want. Either way, whatever is convenient and clear. Okay, now we have essentially all our dimensions that we need. We have the roof slope, we have the overall dimensions, we got the size of the curbs, we got the location of the curbs from both walls. Now we just want to document the equipment. Now on the Taco Bell, the way we've traditionally indicated the equipment, and we're basically following the lead of the client. So this is actually a little bit in transition, but however the units are labeled on the particular roof you're working on is the appropriate way to document it. On the Taco Bells, the unit that serves the dining area we call D. The unit that serves the kitchen area we call K. And we mark that right on there. Okay? The next thing and the last thing we're going to do here is take photographs. Now, we want to take 5 or 6 photos of each unit and then 5 or 6 photos of the roof overall. Okay. Now, you may do a couple of these stores in a day. You may do, 5, 6, 7, 8 these stores in a week. And you're quickly going to have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of photos that basically all look the same. If you don't document it on the spot, it'll get very confusing, not only to you, but then if you try to send these photos into the project management team, it'll be very confusing to them, and we all spend a lot of hours trying to figure out which goes to what. We've learned that from experience, believe me. So here's the effective system we've discovered, okay? First, let's start with a dining unit, okay? We're going to take 5 or 6 photos of the dining unit. The first photo is going to be a photo that identifies the unit. For example, if it says D on the side, we're going to take a photo of the letter D. If it happens to say RTU1, we're just going to take a photo that says RTU1. It doesn't give much else information, but it's going to tell you that this photo is of RTU1 or D, and the subsequent photos all have to do with RTU1 or D until you come to another photo that's going to say RTUK. Okay, first photo, R2D. Second photo, the tag. Get a nice close-up of the tag so it's legible, and we can copy all the data from that photo, take a photo, and that's your second photo. If, for example, the tag is illegible, okay, take the photo anyway so that we know it was captured. We now know also it's illegible, and we'll have to find that information elsewhere. So you take the second photo of the tag, which might be illegible. Then the third, fourth, fifth, the next 4 photos are from 4 different directions, straight on. A photo this direction, a photo this direction, a photo looking at that direction, and a photo looking at that direction. Now you have 6 photos for that RTU. In some cases, the unit's going to be so close to the wall, you really can't get a straight-on view, so take one sort of from an angle. There is data that can be captured in a photo, which we may not know is useful at the time. But it's in a photo, and we have a record, and we can research it if we need to. Okay, now we have 6 photos here. The very next thing we do before we take any more photos is we document these photos and send them to the distribution list for that particular job, which is usually the project manager, the project engineer, and whoever else that may be. So the way we like to do this, I can't demonstrate because my iPhone is right there doing the video, so I can't show you the iPhone. But what I do is say this is my iPhone. I go click on Photos, and the first photo that pops up is the last photo I took. So then I go where it says email. Actually, I'm not remembering this exactly now, so you do know how it is. But I want to take that photo, scroll over, select the next photo, scroll, select, until I have all 6 photos that have to do with RTUD. Then I click email, up pops the email. In the subject line, I'm going to put basically this information. I'm going to say, in the order we do it in, is 13044, which is my job number, space, Taco Bell, space, 28066, space, skip the address, Hialeah, comma, Florida, FLA, FL, space, and then I say RTUD for this one. That is now the subject of all the photos that are coming in this email. And then before I do anything else, I go copy, I press on the subject line, copy, and then I go to the distribution list and I tap it and I put the whole distribution list and I go send. Now, when you send photos, they're going to say, do you want to send small, medium, large, or actual size or whatever it is? Always please send the actual size, the full size, even though it takes up a lot of space. It facilitates in the office. Sometimes we need to zoom in and study these things. Sometimes we'll actually take measurements off the photos, which is why we ask for them in straight on as much as possible. Send. I go to unit K, the same 6 photos. Go to photos, send, select. Go to the subject line, which is blank. I press on it, and it gives me the option to paste the subject line I had previously copied. So I just go to where it says RTUD. I delete D, put in K, distribution list, send, boom, done. The last 5 or 6 photos is I just take some miscellaneous photos, which only takes a couple minutes, of some of the equipment here. If there's something unusual about the slope, I'll take a photo of the slope. Just several miscellaneous photos so we can see what else is going on the roof. We probably won't need that information, but if for some reason there's a challenge in our analysis, if we have that extra information, it can save an extra trip. Photos, select the 6, subject line, erase the D, replace it with miscellaneous rooftop, send, distribution list, send, boom, done. HVAC placement plan is now done. Photos are done. Everything is documented. The photos are distributed, and I can forget about it. Climb down the roof, go inside, get a cup of coffee, and prepare to do the framing plan. See you in the next video.